I remember Rhythm Thief being pretty well promoted by Nintendo around the era it released at the start of the 3DS's life, but since then I think it's faded into semi-obscurity. It's actually a little sad since I think this game's main legacy is a TikTok sound, because it's actually a pretty fantastic game otherwise. Rhythm Thief was developed by the same team behind Professor Layton, and this is very clear with the exploration around the streets of Paris, even complete with tapping around every screen to try and uncover secrets. But instead of a slew of puzzles and brain teasers to solve, Rhythm Thief, as the name suggests, is packed to the brim with different rhythm minigames. Most of these are fantastic, and unlike Professor Layton where 90% of the puzzles are completely unrelated to the story going on around it, pretty much every section of gameplay in Rhythm Thief is contextualized within the story and fit in pretty perfectly. It gets to balance the story and gameplay pretty spot on, with the story never taking too much attention away before you get to do something interactive, but still present enough that you're always progressing through the narrative. The narrative is a bit batshit, involving cults, thieving alter egos, and a potentially undead Napoleon causing mayhem in modern Paris. While it is certifiably off the wall, it's just cohesive enough that it all works. The only issue is that near the end it seems like they're trying to set up a sequel that unfortunately hasn't materialized yet. While I was having a great time for most of Rhythm Thief, there was one particular moment that made me almost drop it about halfway through. It's a simple enough minigame where you need to tap to match the beat of different flashing buttons, essentially mimicking a metronome, but the level of precision required and the level of precision the 3DS touchscreen is capable of processing are almost completely incompatible. This makes a mandatory minigame a torturous activity and mindless tapping until eventually the game thinks that you've done it right and lets you progress. In trying to find a trick to this minigame online, I found multiple reports of people just dropping the game at this point since they couldn't get it to work, which sucks since pretty much everything else works perfectly. Aside from that one moment in particular, Rhythm Thief is a fantastic game that I really hope gets a surprise sequel someday, since it's a great gameplay loop that hasn't been replicated since, and because the new Professor Layton revival is almost ready for release, it seems like this would be the best opportunity to continue the streak of reviving dormant series.